Welcome to the viral desert. The ongoing spread of the coronavirus epidemic has also triggered a vast epidemic of ideological viruses which were lying dormant in our societies. Fake news, paranoiac conspiracy theories, explosions of racism. The well-grounded medical need for quarantines found an echo in the ideological pressure to establish clear borders and to quarantine enemies who pose a threat to our identity. But maybe another and much more beneficent ideological virus will spread and hopefully infect us. The virus of thinking of an alternate society, a society beyond nation-state, a society that actualizes itself in the forms of global solidarity and cooperation. Speculation is widespread that coronavirus may lead to the fall of communist rule in China, in the same way that, as Gorbachev himself admitted, the Chernobyl catastrophe was the event that triggered the end of Soviet communism. But there is a paradox here. Coronavirus will also compel us to reinvent communism based on trust in the people and in science. In the final scene of Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill, Volume 2, Beatrix disables the evil Bill and strikes him with the 5-point palm exploding heart technique, the deadliest blow in all of martial arts. The move consists of a combination of 5 strikes with one's fingertips to 5 different pressure points on the target's body after the target walks away and has taken 5 steps. Their heart explodes in their body and they fall to the floor. Such an attack is part of the martial arts mythology but is not possible in real hand-to-hand combat. In the film, after Beatrix strikes him in this way, Bill calmly makes his peace with her, takes 5 steps and dies. What makes this attack so fascinating is the time between being hit and the moment of death. I can have a nice conversation as long as I sit calmly, but I am aware throughout it that the moment I start to walk my heart will explode. And isn't the idea of those who speculate on how coronavirus may lead to the fall of the communist rule in China that the coronavirus epidemics works as some kind of social 5-point palm exploding heart technique on the Chinese communist regime? The Chinese leadership can sit, observe, and go through the usual motions of quarantine, but every real change in the social order, like really trusting the people, will bring their downfall. My modest opinion is much more radical. The coronavirus epidemic is a kind of 5-point palm exploding heart technique on the global capitalist system, a signal that we cannot go on the way we have till now. That a radical change is needed. Years ago, Frederick Jameson drew attention to the utopian potential in movies about a cosmic catastrophe such as an asteroid threatening life on Earth, or a virus wiping out humanity. Such a universal threat gives birth to global solidarity. Our petty differences become insignificant. We all work together to find a solution, and here we are today, in real life. This is not a call to sadistically enjoy widespread suffering insofar as it helps our cause, on the contrary. The point is to reflect upon the sad fact that we need a catastrophe to be able to rethink the very basic features of the society in which we live. The first vague model of such a global coordination is the World Health Organization, from which we are not getting the usual bureaucratic gibberish but precise warnings proclaimed without panic. Such organizations should be given more executive power. While U.S. presidential candidate Bernie Sanders is mocked by skeptics for his advocacy of universal health care in the U.S., isn't the lesson of the coronavirus epidemics that even more is needed? That we should start to put together some kind of global healthcare network? A day after Iran's deputy health minister, Iraj Harichi, appeared at a press conference in order to downplay the coronavirus spread and to assert that mass quarantines are not necessary. He made a short statement admitting that he has contracted the coronavirus and placed himself in isolation. Even during his TV appearance, he had displayed signs of fever and weakness. Harichi added, "This virus is democratic, and it doesn't distinguish between poor and rich or between a statesman and an ordinary citizen. One in this. He was deeply right. We are all in the same boat." It is difficult to miss the supreme irony of the fact that what has brought us all together and promoted global solidarity expresses itself at the level of everyday life in strict commands to avoid close contacts with others, even to self-isolate. And we are not dealing only with viral threats. Other catastrophes are looming on the horizon or already taking place. Droughts, heat waves, killer storms, the list is long. In all these cases, the answer is not panic but the hard and urgent work to establish some kind of efficient global coordination. The first illusion to get rid of is the one floated by Donald Trump during his recent visit to India. That the epidemic will recede quickly, we just have to wait for it to spike and then life will return to normal. China is already preparing for this moment. Their media announced that when the epidemic is over, people will have to work Saturdays and Sundays to catch up. Against these all too easy hopes, it's important to accept is that the threat is here to stay. Even if this wave recedes, it will likely reappear in new, perhaps even more dangerous, forms. The fact that we already have patients who survived coronavirus infection, were proclaimed cured, and then became infected again, is an ominous sign in this direction. For this reason, we can expect that viral epidemics will affect our most elementary interactions with other people and objects around us, including our own bodies. Instructions about how to deal with this will abound. Avoid touching things which may be, invisibly, dirty. Do not touch hooks. Do not sit on public toilets or on benches in public places. Avoid embracing others or shaking their hands. And be especially careful about how you control your own body and your spontaneous gestures. Do not touch your nose or rub your eyes. In short, do not play with yourself. So it's not only the state and other agencies that will seek to control us. We should learn to control and discipline ourselves. Maybe only virtual reality will be considered safe, and moving freely in an open space will be reserved for the islands owned by the ultra-rich. Point 2. But even here, at the level of virtual reality and the internet, we should remind ourselves that, in the last decades, the terms virus and viral were mostly used to designate digital viruses that infected our web space and of which we were not aware, at least not until their destructive power, say, of destroying our data or our hard drive, was unleashed. What we see now is a massive return to the original literal meaning of the term. Viral infections work hand in hand in both dimensions.